Okay, let's picture this. Summer, New York City, 1976. It's hot, sure, but there's this other kind of chill in the air, fear.
Yeah, real sense of dread. There's a killer out there using a .44 caliber handgun.
And no one knows why. The victims seem random, no connection, young couples, often just sitting in cars. It's the start of the whole Son of Sam terror.
And that's what we're digging into today. We want to get past the scary headlines, really understand what happened based on the info we have.
Right. We're using Son of Sam, Crimson Echoes Reawakened, as our guide here, trying to piece together the key parts of this case.
Exactly. Look at the person, the events, and I guess why we're still talking about it all these years later. It's deeply unsettling stuff.
Okay, so the man himself, David Berkowitz,
Yeah.
born 1953. And right from the start, a difficult beginning given up for adoption.
Adopted by Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz, they gave him a home, but the source we're looking at, Crimson Echoes Reawakened, it does mention some things. Looking back, maybe warning signs.
Like what specific?
Well, things like an obsession with fire, feeling isolated, being bullied. It's tough looking back, obviously, because you see it through the lens of what happened later.
Sure, hindsight is 20/20.
Exactly. But the book suggests these were signs of a young person who was, well, really struggling.
Then he does military service, comes back. And the source hints that maybe things got rockier, more unstable after that.
Yeah, that period, returning from service, it can be a real challenge for people if there are underlying issues.
It can make them worse.
It seems like it can, yeah. Adjusting back isn't always smooth, and Crimson Echoes Reawakened flags 1974 as a real turning point, the start of what it calls his descent.
So around 74, things really started to go downhill for him.
That's what the source suggests, yeah. A noticeable worsening in his apparent mental state.
Now let's talk about the city itself. New York, mid-70s. It wasn't exactly the safest or calmest time, was it?
No, not at all. Crimson Echoes Reawakened paints a picture. You had blackouts, crime was a major issue, even political corruption was in the air.
So there was already this kind of background hum of anxiety.
Precisely. That existing tension, that unease, it just amplified the terror when the killings started. It was like throwing gasoline on a fire.
The first attack, July 1976. And it goes on for a whole year, July 77.
A full year of fear. And the pattern, or the target, seemed to be young couples, often in parked cars. Just terrifying.
And the final count? 6 people killed, 7 wounded.
Yeah. And the thing that really drove the panic, as the book points out, was the sheer randomness.
Right. No link between victims, different places, different people.
Absolutely. It made everyone feel vulnerable. Like, it could literally be anyone, anywhere.
Yeah.
Mass panic wasn't an exaggeration.
And the media, they jumped all over this.
Oh, completely. Crimson Echoes Reawakened really stresses this. Front page news, day after day, huge headlines.
Which probably just fed into what the killer wanted, right? The attention, notoriety.
It's a complex relationship, that media focus and these kinds of crimes. But yeah, it's very possible that the intense spotlight inadvertently gave him a twisted sense of power or importance.
The book mentions the first murder, Donna, Lauria, just to kind of ground us in the reality of it.
Yeah, it's important not to forget the victims. Imagine just a young woman out with her friend in a car.
And suddenly life is just gone. No warning.
That's the horror, the suddenness, the brutality, no apparent reason, no way to fight back. It created this feeling of complete vulnerability across the city.
And then came the letters. That's when he becomes the Son of Sam.
Right. Crimson Echoes Reawakened highlights how these letters just ramped up the terror. It wasn't just random violence anymore. There was this taunting personality behind it.
A personality communicating directly, mocking them.
Exactly. It was like psychological warfare. Not just saying I did it, but bragging, taunting the police, seemingly enjoying the fear he was causing.
The book includes some chilling quotes. Things like, I am a monster. I am the Son of Sam. I love to hunt. Just, wow.
Yeah, reading those words, even now, it's deeply disturbing. It shows this embrace of a monstrous identity, almost a self-awareness about it, designed to shock.
He sent them to the police, obviously, but also to Jimmy Breslin, a newspaper columnist.
Yes, at the New York Daily News, targeting the media directly. But maybe the weirdest part of the letters.
The dog?
Yeah. The claim, according to the source, that his neighbor Sam Carr's dog, Harvey.
It was a possessed demon telling him to kill.
It's just such a bizarre element. Was it a delusion? A break from reality, or, was it calculated? An attempt to look insane later?
That becomes a huge question, right? Whether it was real to him or a performance.
Absolutely. And it's a question that still hangs over the case.
Meanwhile, the NYPD is under incredible pressure. A whole year goes by.
And they're struggling. Crimson Echoes Reawakened points out that the randomness, the lack of a clear pattern, made it incredibly tough.
How do you investigate something when there's no connection, no typical motive?
It's a nightmare for investigators. Standard profiling, victimology, none of it really applied easily here. They were chasing shadows, it seemed.
Until the parking ticket seems so ordinary.
It really does. After the last shooting, this parking ticket near the scene for Berkowitz's car, that becomes the key.
Just pure chance, almost.
It highlights how sometimes, a bit of luck or a small detail can break a massive case wide open. Someone connected the dots on that ticket.
And when they find his car?
Bingo. The source says they found a rifle, maps marked with the crime scenes, handwritten notes. Pretty damning stuff.
Incriminating, to say the least. Suggests planning, right?
So definitely suggests premeditation. Maybe even like keeping souvenirs or records, a disturbing window into his mindset.
So they arrest him August 10th, 1977.
Finally. And his reported first words to the police.
You got me. What took you so long? Chillin'.
Yeah, really chilling. What does that even mean? Resignation, taunting them one last time. It just adds to the whole disturbing picture.
He pleads guilty in the end. No trial.
Right. But pleading guilty didn't stop the questions. As Crimson Echoes Reawakened notes, the theories were just beginning.
Like his initial claim about the voices telling him to kill.
Exactly. Was that a genuine psychotic break? Or was he trying to set up an insanity defense, manipulate the system?
It's the core question, really, his mental state.
Absolutely. Was it something like, say, paranoid schizophrenia with real hallucinations? Or more like an antisocial personality disorder, manipulative, no regard for others, but maybe not truly delusional in the same way? These are the kinds of distinctions psychologists debate.
And then later, he changes his story, brings in the cult idea.
Yes. Claims of involvement with a satanic cult. He specifically mentioned the Process Church.
Which led to that book, The Ultimate Evil by Maury Terry.
Right, which pushed the theory that Berkowitz wasn't alone, that maybe multiple people part of this cult were involved in the killings.
But the official police stance.
The NYPD, according to our source, pretty much dismissed the cult angle. They stuck to the lone gunman theory.
But a lot of people weren't convinced, still aren't.
Exactly. That cult theory added this whole other layer of mystery and conspiracy that still fascinates people, even though it remains unproven.
Then comes another twist. In prison, 1987, he finds religion.
Claims a conversion to Christianity, yeah.
Yeah.
Now calls himself the Son of Hope.
Son of Hope, wow. Quite a change.
Reportedly, yeah. The book mentions he preaches to other inmates, writes religious essays. Apparently, he's even turned down his own parole hearings.
Refused parole. Why?
The implication, perhaps, is that he doesn't feel he deserves release. Or maybe it's part of this new identity. It's hard to say for sure.
And there's a website now, run by a ministry.
Our source mentions that, yes. And his claims of full repentance, saying he deserves forgiveness.
But legally, he's still
serving 6 life sentences. As of 2025, he's at Shwangung Correctional Facility. The legal system's verdict stands, regardless of the claimed transformation.
So, trying to figure out the real Son of Sam, it's complicated.
Extremely. Crimson Echoes Reawakened reflects on this. Was it psychosis? Was it calculated evil? Maybe antisocial personality disorder? Psychologists still debate it.
But the source is clear on some things.
Yes. Whatever the underlying diagnosis, the known facts show he was calculating. He was manipulative. And he seemed to get some kind of satisfaction from the terror he caused.
And the case left a mark, didn't it? Beyond just the fear.
Oh, absolutely. That level of paranoia gripping a whole city, it's hard to overstate. And legally, too.
The Son of Sam laws.
Exactly. As Crimson Echoes Reawakened points out, these laws were created specifically because of this case, to stop criminals from cashing in on their crimes, selling their stories.
So the money, if any, would go to victims or their families.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
A direct response to the public outrage that someone could profit from causing so much pain.
So wrapping this up, the big questions about Son of Sam, they kind of linger, don't they?
They really do.
Yeah.
Was he alone? Were there other factors like the cult theory suggests, even if unproven? It's complex.
It forces you to think about, well, the nature of crime and how hard it is to truly understand what goes on in someone's head when they do things like this.
Definitely. And all the different takes on Berkowitz, the killer, the penitent, the possible cult member. It just shows how much this case still resonates, still disturbs. A truly dark chapter for New York.
And that leaves you, the listener, with those complexities. What do you make of the Son of Sam story? One man's horrific actions, or something more, worth thinking about?